Well then, that was a big pile of steaming hot donkey crap. The final score at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 2, Newcastle United 0. We had one attempt on target, which was a weak header from Elliot Anderson very, very late in the game. And that just says it all about how tonight's game went. We were absolutely shocking. Now, given the time that we had off, Palace have played 3 games between that time since we last kicked a football. And Palace looked way fitter than us tonight, and they wanted the ball more than us tonight. And every time they lost the ball, they were like terriers at us, at our ankles. And listen, I didn't mind the way Crystal Palace were biting at our ankles tonight, because that is how I want to see our team play. You know, that was us last season. When we lost the ball, we were just in like terrier dogs working for the ball. And tonight, Crystal Palace did that to us. They wanted it way, way more. And under their new manager, they're showing a bit more nastiness and certainly a lot more drive and intention, commitment, whatever you want to say. They deserve that 100% tonight, because they made us look like amateurs. Again, we went with the same formation against Tottenham. Was that the right decision from Eddie? It was clear for me, and clear for a lot of people, that as the game went on, it wasn't working. It just wasn't working. I thought he would revert back to the 4-3-3, either at half-time or sometime in the second half. He didn't. He made changes which were a bit bizarre, putting Isak out on the right-hand side when he's certainly more left, and that's where he's played most of his career. He's a left-sided forward, and Elliot Anderson is a right wing-back. I mean, this kid, he's all over the place, and he doesn't know whether he's coming or going. But I do think Elliot Anderson was actually one of our better players tonight. But you know what? The first couple of minutes of the game, we went at Palace quite quickly, and there was a bit of intent there. And I thought, yeah, this is not a bad start from Newcastle. But as time went on, Palace got more and more of the ball. Palace grew into the game, and there was only one team going to win that game once that happened, and that was Crystal Palace. Because we couldn't string 3 or 4 passes together. There was a couple of times we got in there and got some crosses in. Not enough for me. And not enough for a lot of Newcastle fans tonight. It just wasn't good enough. Now, I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon in here and say, oh, Eddie's done it again. He needs sacking. That's bollocks, guys. We just had a bad day at the office, okay? A very bad day at the office. The players weren't good enough. The manager wasn't good enough tonight, because he should have changed the formation. But again, he kept it as it is. He didn't want to rock the boat. You know, he put players in. It's square pegs in round holes. And I don't like seeing that. We had enough of that with Steve Bruce. But that's what we saw tonight when he was putting Elliot Anderson as a right wing back. You know, Isak as a right forward. I mean, that just... But I thought Isak did well tonight. I thought he was one of the few players that actually showed a bit of desire to try and make something happen. But, I mean, the first goal, horrendous. Horrendous. It really was. You know, Murphy, I don't know what he's doing, hanging around with the ball, as he did a lot tonight. He didn't have a great game. Kraft's clearance was awful. And then what is Dan Burn doing? You know, he steps in when Fabian Schär is already in that position. There is no need for Dan Burn to step up like that. And of course, Ayew just says, right, I'll just knock it back to you, Mateta. You've got the Selhurst Park at your mercy. Go and stick it in the back of the net, son, and give us the lead. And that's exactly what Mateta did. And when we went 1-0 down, I expected a reaction. And I'll tell you why. Because after the 10 days off, you expect Newcastle United to be a lot fitter than what we saw on that pitch tonight. When we were a goal down, you expect us to have a bit of drive, a bit of motivation, blood, sweat and tears to get back into the game, and we didn't see it. And for that reason, I have no idea. I really don't know why we didn't see it, but we didn't. It was just empty. And then the second goal, I mean, it just horrific. I do think there was a foul in the build-up, but I'm not making any excuses up. Palace deserved to get 3 or 4 tonight, never mind win 2-0. You know, I think it was a foul on Longstaff, but again, Palace break away, and the defending is horrific. I mean, they get to the byline, the ball comes back, Mateta doesn't really get a good connection on the ball with his left foot. How that goes under Dubravka through his legs, I'll never know. I mean, it's just a catalogue of errors. But we've seen that many, many times from Newcastle United this season. And I just think that's the way it's going for us. We've got 5 games left. I'm not saying it's all over yet. to beat Manchester United into 6th. I think Tottenham in 5th are too far. There's 10 points between us now. They still have a game in hand. I think there's too much going on there. I don't think we've got any chance of catching them. So really, it's Man United that we need to look at. And Man United, they beat Sheffield United 4-2. We have to go out and do the same to Sheffield United at St James's Park on Saturday. Because if we perform like that, you know, Sheffield United are fighting for their lives. We know what it's like in the Premier League with teams fighting for their lives. We did them 8-0 down there, remember. They will want to come up and beat us and get revenge for that, because that was an embarrassing performance from them. They will want revenge for that. So we need to be a lot better. I think we will be a lot better on Saturday, because I think a lot of words will be had in that dressing room after tonight. A lot of words and a lot of questions asked of each other. So I expect a big response on Saturday against Sheffield United and really put them to the sword. But tonight just wasn't our night. It was wrong from the off. I don't know why it was wrong from the off. We just didn't get going. And some of the passing was awful. You know, Fabian Schär had one of those lazy days again. He's either fantastic or he's awful. When he's had 4 or 5 of these games this season where he just doesn't look interested. He made a wonderful block early in the game from Anderson when he threw himself in front of that volley. That could have been 1-0 to Palace then. But it was a brilliant block. But after that, his passing, awful. Awful. I mean, just god-awful. And we've got to improve again. We've got to pick ourselves up now and go again on Saturday. You know, in a way, it's good that we've got a game so quickly again, because we get a chance to put that performance out of our minds and back to winning. And then there's 4 games left after Saturday. It's anybody's. But that game at Old Trafford is looking more and more important. But we have to keep winning. We have to keep those points coming in before we go to Old Trafford, because that could determine who finishes 6th in the Premier League, the way it's looking. But we cannot afford to drop any more points. It's as simple as that. You know, and I understand people, you know, in the chat tonight on Matchday Live, they were saying, oh, it's Crystal Palace, we should be beating them. In my opinion, I agree. You know, if we want to be an elite side, we want to be this big side in the Premier League, you have to go to places like Selhurst Park and win, and not be outfought like we were tonight. We were simply outworked and outplayed for the majority of that game tonight. And Palace, to their credit, have got something going with this new manager. They really have. They've got some very, very talented players who turned up tonight. Our talented players sadly didn't. And that's the way it works. And it's disappointing. It's very, very disappointing. But I'm not going to sort of go crazy and think, oh my God, I want Eddie Howe out. This has got to change this. It's too reactionary, guys. We need to take a look at this and think, right, we haven't turned up tonight. It's been one of those games where we've just lost. You know, Liverpool lost to Palace at Anfield a couple of weeks ago, right? So that was a bad day at the office for them. It can happen in football. You know, 9 out of 10 times Liverpool will beat Crystal Palace at Anfield. We all know that, and that happens in football. And that's just the same as what happens tonight. We didn't turn up. Palace have some excellent players and an excellent manager who knows what he's doing, and has put a bit of nastiness back into Palace and a bit of attacking mythology, if you like, and they really do go out to win games. Whereas in the past, under Hodgson's been a bit sort of laid back and trying not to lose rather than go and try and win. But Palace outfought us in every aspect of that pitch tonight. There was some shocking performances from the Newcastle players. It was a shocking performance from the manager. I think he got a lot wrong tonight. His substitutions were bizarre with where he put players after he made the substitutions. For me, when he made them, I thought he was going to go back to a 4-3-3. And then when they kicked off again, and I'm thinking, Elliot Anderson, right wing back, what's going on here? You know, so there was a few things sadly wrong tonight. And we just, listen, it was one of those games where we just wanted the final whistle. But we have to pick ourselves up and go again on Saturday. And I think it's a good time to get rid of that performance, go out there at home and get some goals against Sheffield United, get back to winning ways and concentrate on the last few games of the season. But hey, we'll cover it more in the review tomorrow night. Don't forget, that'll be at 7 o'clock Thursday night. And we'll try and pick the bones out of this game and see what we come up with. But unfortunately, it wasn't our night, and it finished 2-0 to Crystal Palace. But let me know in the comments what you thought. And of course, if you have enjoyed the video, do hit that thumbs up button, guys. Really important to the channel that we get up there in the search results so like fellow people like yourselves can find the channel and hopefully subscribe. If you are new and you like what you see, please do subscribe, free to do so, but don't forget to hit the bell, which will notify you when we upload any videos or we schedule in our live shows. But unfortunately, not Newcastle's night tonight, but we do go again on Saturday. We'll see you very soon. Take care.